Hey, sorry, things got crazy and I was on a call, but I figured I would just send a voice memo and you can call me back later if you want.
I think there should be a game show, and I'm like going backwards here. Like I'm constructing this backwards. There's a word for it, but I forget what it is. But like I feel like this is a game show you would win, so like I want to create it just so you would win it. But I feel like there should be a game show where it's like two teams are given a new board game, and how you win is you don't even win the board game. You win just by whichever group of people figures out how to play the game correctly first. And I feel like you would do really well at that because I feel like you're very good at sort of like figuring out how stuff works or like what like the ins and outs of different things are. But yeah, I feel like we can call it like instructions, and like they have like a certain amount of time to figure out like how to play the game correctly. And that's my big idea of the day.
It is Thursday, March 13th. I feel like did you ever watch The Daily, the podcast The Daily? Watch it. Did you listen to the podcast The Daily? Because that's how they start every episode. They're like, it is Thursday, March 13th, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we were talking about like influencers and stuff, and like we both brought up how neither one of us understands the Kardashians. And I was on Twitter and a video popped up of Kim showing up late to a fashion show in what looked like some sort of converted castle, because you know, like the fashion weeks in Europe, they're like opulent and crazy. And she like walks by Anna Wintour, who like pretty much snubs her, even though I'm like, girl, don't act like you don't like Kim Kardashian. You put her and Kanye on the cover. Like you contributed to this, Anna. But her and Kris Jenner were like sitting in the front. I'm like, I don't know why. Like, why are we all still doing this? Why? Why? How has this lasted through multiple generations at this point?
I think finally we're in the era where people are starting to get sick of them. So I think they will be completely irrelevant in like 5 years, which is good. But brands are still doing this because when her bubble butt diaper ass posts herself in a $3,000 Balenciaga like vest, bitches buy it. Or like how Skims did a collab with Dolce & Gabbana and that shit is so fucking cheap and tacky. It's because the fashion houses know that basic bitches that even can't fucking afford their shit will buy it. It's so sad. Everything is so tasteless. Also, fuck Anna Wintour. She needs to step the fuck down. She needed to step down like 10 years ago. And sorry, no, I actually never listened to that podcast. So bad of me to be starting a podcast with you. And I've listened to like only true crime, a few episodes of Call Her Daddy, and then like some Canadian journalism podcast. And then, this girl that I made friends with, she had like the Manifesting Money podcast. And obviously The Bald and the Beautiful. Obviously. Okay, and Sibling Rivalry. Okay, so I've listened to a few.
You don't need to listen to The Daily. Don't worry about it. I don't know if I'm even going to go back and listen to it again. I actually think they did a pretty great episode on the Prince documentary that's never going to air. But other than that, it's just the New York Times doing a lot of like whataboutism. So, yeah.
Oh, I did not watch the Prince documentary. Is that the one that his sister cleared, but technically the estate didn't want? Also, I love how yesterday when I tried to go out to interview people for the pod, like no one was around because people are employed. But then I texted 3 of my friends being like, send me a little snippet voice memo. None of them have done it yet. So I just reminded all of them and I'm like, what the actual hell?
Okay, so I'm not trying to give you homework, but the episode about the Prince documentary is actually fairly short, and I find it fascinating, especially like as artists and creatives, because this makes me so mad and so upset. Like basically the guy that they hired to do this is the same documentary filmmaker who made the OJ 10-part series that was like a masterpiece. He's a 50-year-old black male documentarian. His name is escaping me now. I keep wanting to call him like Errol Morris because Errol Morris did the famous documentaries, but I think it's like something similar sounding. And the Prince estate, the entire estate, like agreed to this and like gave him access to the vault. And Netflix, like the whole deal was put in place. Uh, and like this was a few years ago because it takes a long time to like do something like this. And like he had just come off the OJ thing. And so Netflix, you know, who will just throw money at anything, were like, make us a documentary. And he was like, okay, well, I want to do one about Prince. And so they like got him access to the vault. The estate was like down for it. Everything's good. He gets in the vault, and there's really nothing in the vault because either Prince like didn't really want, like he was hoping that there would be stuff in the vault that would sort of give you a window into what this very mysterious person was like. And surprise, surprise, Prince was like, no, I'm mysterious. I'm not keeping anything anywhere that's going to like give you all a window into me. Like, I don't want that. And so this documentarian was like, okay, let me get to work. And he just starts interviewing everybody. And because the estate had said that it was like okay for this documentary to happen, he pretty much got everybody, like people who normally wouldn't speak on anything, were like talking to him. And he ends up like doing this 9-hour documentary that anyone who's seen it, it's so it hasn't come out, but he managed to show like early cuts of it to people. And anyone who saw it, including the New York Times critic who watched it, said that it was a masterpiece, that it's like one of the greatest things they've ever seen, that like if you like Prince, this will be very meaningful to you. But the estate then changed hands. And like, this is what I think is so annoying about estates too. Like, this is not like Prince's family. Like, I think some members of his family obviously are somewhat involved, but like, it's mostly like lawyers making these decisions who are making money off Prince, and I just find that disgusting because I'm like, truthfully, I find it disgusting for anybody to make money off anything that they did not have a hand in. I don't care if it's like your mother or your son or your daughter. Like, if you didn't write the book, write the song, sing the song, direct the movie, then like, why are you getting money from it? You didn't do anything. I guess the only exception maybe I would think would be like a spouse, because like spousal support is a thing, but otherwise like you should not be getting any money. But anyway, so the new estate takes over, and they watch the documentary, and there's stuff in the documentary about the fact that like Prince was not really nice to quite a lot of women. I think there's one account of him like either shoving or slapping a woman. Um, and then, he had that album where he said a bunch of like anti-Semitic things. Um, and so the estate is like, this is going to do damage to the brand. So, um, at first, Netflix pushes back and is like, well, too bad. You signed off on it. Like, you said we could do this and whatever. And then, what they end up like getting it on a technicality because they had agreed to I think it's a 6-hour documentary, and he turned in a 9-hour documentary. And I guess there was really no way to kind of go back, like the way the documentary is structured, it would not be easy or even possible to like go in and just chop 3 hours because it's episodic, but it's not something where like it's just linear or anything like that, which is what makes this man so smart. And they did a really great interview with him where they sort of asked, because like one of the claims, or that like the people who don't want the documentary coming out is like, you're trying to cancel another famous black man in the way that like you would never like try to do this with like Keith Richards or anything. And they speak to this guy and he's like, well, first of all, I'm I'm a black man documentarian. And like, Prince is a bigger, better, more important artist than Keith Richards. Like there's a reason we can do 9 hours on him because like he's a genius. But he ends up having this really, like he's not trying to sort of have a conversation about cancel culture, but he sort of touches upon it inadvertently because he's like, look, we really, really, really have to learn how to appreciate somebody's art in spite of whatever messed up shit they did in their life. Because he's like, Prince, when he was a child, was locked in a closet for like 6 days. He was like thrown, and then he like moved in with his mom and was thrown out of his mom's house at age 14. Like he was as abandoned as it gets, and like all of that pain and all of that, horrible shit that happened to him definitely like manifested some demons, and like all of that went into the music and into the art, and just like, it's not about like giving anybody a pass at all or saying like, we like him in spite of this stuff. He's like, it's just about like nuance and like understanding that like people are, like fully formed human beings, and like we just have to get better at like holding all these ideas together. And I just got so angry for him. Aside from all that, I just got angry for him because I was like, this man works so hard. I mean, 9 hours of a documentary is like, I can't even imagine that amount of work. And Netflix just decided to back off. And now the estate is going to make a very pro Prince, like sanitized documentary. And I'm just like, there should be some sort of like there should be some sort of way to fight that. Like even just it sounds crazy, but like even us as the public like should have some sort of right to see that. Like somebody made this, the artist made this, and I realize that like Netflix technically owns it and the estate owns the print stuff, but I'm like, right, but like it makes me think of like all these movies that are like these studios cancel and then just take a tax cut. I'm like, this is so not okay.
Oh my god, I agree with you 110%. Also, not Keith Richards catching strays in these voice memos. I love it. Yeah. It's like the same thing with Kanye. Like, do I like Kanye? No. He's an absolute mentally ill, anti-Semitic, and racist, now, psychopath. Do I love and appreciate his art? Yes. I miss Hurricane Katrina Kanye. Like, for sure. I guess my mother and I will need to watch whatever kind of documentary comes out because we love Prince. But yeah, I am a big believer in separating the art from the artist. I know that's so controversial, but it's like, can you name one artist that hasn't done anything fucked up? Like, we're literally getting rumors about like Jim Carrey's bad behavior. Like, every artist has done something fucked up. And yes, to your point, Prince was friggin' abused so badly. And again, not giving a pass, but we can still appreciate what he did for the world. As far as the legal stuff, all the stuff you're talking about is super interesting to me and is why like I've worked at huge law firms, because I do believe that, like a politician, artists and entertainers are kind of dipping their toes into public servitude, where it's like, hey, we're having access to all this art you make. Unfortunately, that gives us access to your lives, and we are the one contributing to your wealth. So in that way, I do think that we have rights to what we can view and consume. I also heard in his estate that like it is like his sister, but like his half sister, who apparently he didn't really like at all. When it changed hands, it changed to her, and she's been making all these like convoluted decisions, I guess. But insane. Okay. At first, the voice memo sounded like homework, but now it's feeling less like homework. So maybe while I'm editing our podcast for the second time, I'll listen, because that sounds super interesting.
Yeah, and it's also like I make it sound like it's a 2 hour podcast about all this. They cover it very quickly. So it's not super long. And if you're crazy, I know you don't do double speed, I do double speed. But even if you do like 1.25, it'll be done in like 15 minutes. Um, yeah, and like the crazy thing is like the woman who watched the documentary, the finished documentary, because like it's finished, it's done. Um, and like this poor man, who by the way, look him up, he is so handsome. But this poor man, he doesn't even have access to it. Like he can't even be like, all right, well, every couple months I'll like have a couple friends over and show it to them, like just so like they can see what I did. Like he has no access to his work that he created, and I find that appalling, disgusting. Like years of his life, and he has nothing. Like he can't even look at it. I just think it's so unbelievably wrong, especially when the only argument that I would make is that, like, if Prince were still alive and it was him being like, I don't want this, which some people are saying it's really ironic because he probably wouldn't have wanted this. Um, but, like, if it was a living person who was like, I don't want this, then I'd be like, well, I mean, I guess he has some right to, like, his life not being shown in this way, if that's not, or like shown in this way where like the person also has access to all this stuff. But Prince isn't even here anymore. Like now we're talking about the fear of like canceling people in death. And I just fully, fully, fully believe in my deepest of hearts, piggybacking on what you said, that like if you gave us the phone, the email, the correspondences, the private conversations, if you bugged the home of just about any person on this planet, minus like Dolly Parton, I just firmly believe that like we would learn some shit about everyone that would be very upsetting to us. And so like I just feel like it's the one thing about cancel culture or accountability culture that I think is like the big flaw in the system. It's like, it's really not about what you did, it's about the fact that you got caught doing it. Um, and so that's why I feel like when people describe that sort of strange feeling around it when they see people like getting in trouble or whatever, I think a lot of the times what they're describing is this feeling of like, yeah, like, but what about this person that I know that did this thing that's never going to get in trouble, or what about this thing that I did that nobody knows about that I'm never going to get in trouble for it. And so it's like, I think it's interesting that the point of this documentary, or like a big point of it, was them trying to be like, is there a way for us to hold both of these things in our hand?
Also, can I tell you that one of the things that happens all the time that I feel really bad about is that you are one of those people I know that you're never like trying to be funny or like trying to like perform in daily life. Like you're just kind of being you. But there's moments where you're so funny. But sometimes it's moments where like you're having a hard time or whatever, and just like the way that you process it or like express it is so funny. But then I feel bad because I'm like, okay, well, don't laugh. Like, she's like having a hard time right now. But it's just like, you just have a very, uh, like, you have a very lovely way of like taking whatever's going on with you and like putting it, because I know that it comes from like you not taking yourself too seriously, and that's why it's funny. But it's just like it happens all the time where I'm like, should I let her know that she's actually being really funny right now, or just like just not say anything at all?
Hey, sorry I missed you. It's me. It's Friday at 6 p.m. Just call me back. All right, bye.